gets down to that word for word. He goes, "You stop buying this pussy shit." And he said, "The next time you buy something, add a 0 to it."
Dang.
And that's one of my goals I wrote down for 5 years straight, every single day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another special episode. My name's Anthony. Again, I'm with Daniels Roofing, and I got my co-host here, Grant.
What's up, guys?
And today we have a special guest,
Yes.
Mr. Jared, the bright blazer broker Ritter.
I like you throwing
He's
the
looking.
middle name.
Oh yes, he's looking. Bright today.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Jared,
Always.
welcome on, and it is a pleasure to have you. Dude.
Hey, really appreciate you guys inviting me. I've been looking forward to this. Hopefully dropping some gems today, and yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, man, we want to hopefully bring some value today. I know
Yeah.
you got a lot of knowledge in there. So.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Yeah, we're pumped to have you. So let's dive on into it,
100%.
man. Yeah, let's give it at it.
All right, so I want to do a little bit of backstory.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we do all this marketing, and we walk around thinking everybody knows who we are, but sometimes
Sure.
they don't.
Yeah.
So for that, let's take us back, kind of to the beginning. My understanding is you were born right here in Cape
That's
Girardeau.
right. Yeah,
And
yeah.
you went to Central.
Yep. Went to Central.
And SEMO. So what did life look like for you before real estate?
Yeah. So interesting enough, I love asking people like, "Hey, what do you think my degree's in?" They're like, "Oh, marketing or business,
Yeah,
something
yeah.
fancy, right?" And it is still fancy. It's just a whole different lane, but English education.
Yeah.
So, like you said, graduated Cape Central, born and raised in Cape, been here my whole life. Went right into SEMO, and originally had an English designation for my degree, and I was like, "What am I going to do with that?"
Yeah.
I even thought about maybe being an attorney, job shadow, that kind of thing. And then very quickly turned it over to English education.
Yeah.
And got
Okay.
involved in the schools, love education, love everything about it. I'm on the school board now.
So to say you're still heavily involved.
Yeah. And that's perfect. It's a perfect lane
Are you
for
the
me.
president of the school board now?
I was last year.
Last year, okay.
Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, man, that's awesome.
Yeah. So 9 years in almost of that. But yeah, English education. Love teaching.
Yeah.
Love that environment. I didn't think I was going to be a teacher for 30 years. I didn't think it was only going to be 2.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of how it went. I was forced to make a decision. Got my real estate license as a junior in college.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where started to become a 50% teacher, 50% real estate agent. I was doing the 73 teaching and 3 to dark 30. I was doing real estate,
Yeah.
which was awesome. But it got to the point where I was like, 50% of something's not good for anybody. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And before I knew it, I was calling people back in between classes, trying to fit it in, just going crazy. So after 2 years, had to make the tough decision to go full time, and it's worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. I always say it's probably good to go all in on something. When you're
Absolutely.
dabbling in multiple things, your energy's all split. And then obviously if you find your passion, a lot of people have their 9 to 5s, and then they're able to they want to start something on the side, but they're scared, and then
Yeah.
they do it, but they don't want to go all in because they're scared.
Right.
And sometimes it's good just to take that
Absolutely.
leap there. So
Yeah.
What was it like going to school for teaching and trying to study for your real estate exam too? Overlapping those two, was it like a mix of like chaos, or did you kind of separate the two pretty good?
I think I separated it okay. I did all my real estate schooling online.
Yeah.
So even though as a SEMO student going to school throughout the day,
Right.
I was able to kind of do my thing there, and you can plow through it pretty quick. So
How long's for people that don't know? How long does it take to get your real estate license? Is it like 6 months, a year? What's it, how long does
most
it take?
schools give you 6 months if you're doing them online.
Right.
There's some in-person options where you can do it. We can have crash course in St. Louis in
Yeah.
person. Boom, you're done. Go take your test. A lot of people, they can't take off for a week or
Yeah.
leave for a week. And
Yeah.
most of my agents went the online route.
Yeah.
You have 6 months to complete it. I mean, Drake Bentley, one of my agents, was completely done in 19 days. So you can, yeah, you can do it as fast as
So
you
he
want
just
to.
sit down and he just head down full force.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Jeez.
that's
So
impressive.
it's kind of at your leisure, but
Yeah.
it's a 48-hour course and then a 24-hour practice course for Missouri,
Gotcha.
at least.
Okay. Yeah, cool. So your mom was in real estate, right?
Yes.
And she owned some properties and managed
Yep.
some properties, kind of when you were growing up.
That's right.
How did that influence you on picking that as a kind of a career
100%.
path? Was
Yeah,
that-
yeah. No, totally. Some of my earliest childhood memories, like the core of some of those memories, are revolved around real estate. Like my parents, we'd go to the apartment building they were managing at the time, and they'd say, run up those stairs and tell me how many light bulbs are out. You know what I mean? So it's like 1, 2, just counting, and just running across the properties with my oatmeal cream pies and my little canister of milk, like earliest childhood memories formed around real estate. So I love it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of in my blood, right? So that's kind of where all that got planted most likely. And just been kind of in a different capacity, been involved around real estate my whole life.
Right. When did you realize that, real estate wasn't going to be like a side hustle? I mean, I know you said, I guess it was in college you made a decision, but what was that light bulb moment that you're like, man, this is what I want to do full time?
Yeah, good question. Because in college, when I got my license, I was still an English education major. So I just thought, hey, if I sell a couple houses in the summer, this is a great addition to my teacher salary. That was my whole mindset around it.
Yeah.
I had no idea where it would head. I even thought, principal, superintendent, staying in education was kind of my mindset. And like I said, I didn't think it was 3 years in the classroom, but I didn't think it'd only be 2.
Yeah.
So then whenever, the sales started picking up on the real estate side, like I said, it was kind of just forced into a decision. I honestly didn't almost use my degree at all because like everybody in college, I was in a multi-level marketing company and it's like, I'm going to do that Genesis here.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to sell real estate and I'm just going to do that. But had the opportunity to go teach back at Cape, which was,
that's really cool.
Perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Full circle moment, kind of.
Exactly.
Cool. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I want to, you've talked about mindset a little bit, and I want to talk about some mindset, some goals, and like some routines. Cause I know I followed you for a while. So I know you have some,
exactly.
You have some crazy, well, not crazy to you maybe, but some crazy stuff that I see you doing. So I've seen that you said you've written your goals, and I've watched you do it.
Yeah.
I see you share them, your accountability. But you've written your goals every single day for over 1,800 days.
Yes.
So what started that habit and kind of why?
Yeah. So today is 1,867 days in a row. I've written my goals down.
That's consistency.
And,
Wow. That's
read,
crazy.
And read at least a chapter of my Bible. So it started out with I was approaching 30, and I was like, at 30, I want to be the best at every possible way I can be in my life, personally, professionally, financially. So it started with like, I'm going to create this thing. I'm going to give it a name. It's called Operation 365. So a year out, I started doing the same 5 activities every single day. And I wrote my goals down. I read my Bible. I did 100 push-ups at the time. I did a mile of some kind. Well, there's walking, running, swimming, you name it. And I'm blanking on the 5th one. I can't remember. But anyways, I tore my ACL amongst that. So I kind of stopped.
I was on a bike, right? I think
Ultimate Frisbee.
Frisbee.
Yeah. Not disc golf. Not like at the park.
Okay.
So when I tore my ACL, I got a call from the lady at the hospital. And she was like, so how'd you tear it? And I was like, oh, it was Ultimate Frisbee. She's like, oh, that's cute. Like, did you do that at home? Did you do that at the park? And I was like, no, lady, Ultimate on a football field, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it kind of broke that streak. And that's, one of those defining moments of like, how do you respond to those kind of things? You can't always control what happens, but you can control how you respond, right? Yeah. So I decided to, there was no more push-ups happening, no more miles happening, but I decided to keep the goals going and keep the Bible reading going at that time. And here we are over 5 years later of doing that.
That's wild. So you're pretty public about these challenges. Like I see you like post about them and stuff. What drives you to be so disciplined? I mean, between the push-ups, the Bible, the carnivore diet that you've talked about online and stuff, like what's some things that really just drives you to do that? I mean, I know you just kind of spoke on that, but like a deeper dive in. Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a great way that you put it too, because, you said I'm public about it. I do that for a couple of reasons. A, like you mentioned, it does provide some accountability.
Yeah.
Right? If you put a goal out there and people know about it, well, you better step up to the plate, right? One way or another.
They're going to see you at the grocery store and be like, hey, how's that going? You're like, oh, crap.
Yeah, it's another layer of accountability, really. But a lot of what, I do and we do as a company is try to be inspirational as well. Yeah. Because someone sees me trying something hard, trying something new, stepping out, even giving someone else the idea of doing it. Yeah. I've had so many people approach me with, currently one of the big things is the push-up thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, where'd that start? How'd you do it? What are you using? So I use a deck of cards, and it's just a great tool to tell somebody like, hey, everybody's got a deck of cards. Everybody can do push-ups. One example of, how you put yourself out there. But, I've always been about consistency, right? Because I truly believe that it is those small, minute things that add up over time that make you successful. It's that compounded effort that if you just did something good every single day, You did the next right thing. You had a consistent routine. All of that 100% adds up. And a quote I heard one time is a lot of people overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but underestimate what they can do in 10.
Yeah.
And that's completely 1000% true, right?
Yeah.
And if I set a lofty target and don't hit it this year, nothing bad with a big target, but then I just like, oh, I'm bummed. That was, pointless, you know, and then I don't pick it back up and try again. Well, I just absolutely ruined all momentum of what I could have done in 2, 5, 10 years. Right.
Yeah.
So you just kind of have to get started.
Yeah. So you think that, now obviously you've set some pretty big goals.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the entrepreneurial space, we set big goals.
Absolutely.
So I think it's important to set those big goals, but and I don't know if you've alluded to it already, but I believe the small goals, the short-term goals are almost more important than that large goal. Would you agree?
Yeah, you have to have milestones. And I'm bad about that because I used to be just overly lofty. And the way you structure those goals matters, right? Like, the SMART method, all that kind of stuff. And I have certain ways that I do mine maybe versus others. But that's where your short-term goals really come in, right? Like everybody wants to be the biggest, the best, yada, yada, and have this massive, scary, audacious goal. That's awesome. But like you're saying, if you don't have checkpoints along the way, certain milestones,
have the roadmap
that you can check off and find some success there and rack up some wins, that's crucial.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I feel like if you don't have those, you might lose your way a little bit. I mean, we have weekly goals here, monthly goals, and then, yearly goals that we want to hit. And I think that's helped us achieve our being able to scale help like we have.
Yeah. I mean, we want to be like Daniel's Roofing Worldwide.
Yeah.
If you don't get there by setting you're like, okay, well, what is that? Whatever your goal is, you're like, hey, if I want to get to here, if I want to make X amount of money, or if I want my business to go in this direction, cool. So what's that roadmap look like? What are the little things you can do every day, day to day? I mean, it starts with your day, doing 1,000-something push-ups or whatever.
How do you break those down, by the way? Do you do them like sets of 20 or what?
Yeah, so it's a good question.
Gosh.
And it's the same thing, right? Like I just said, that original 5 years ago Operation 365 I came up with was 100 push-ups a day.
Yeah.
So like I had to get into some kind of consistent habit. And, I think people are also a lot more capable than they give themselves credit for.
Yeah.
Because if I said none of us can leave this room until we've each done 100 push-ups, it may take one of us 5 minutes, it may take one of us an hour, but we're all going to be able to do it if you just keep doing it, right? Yeah. So I think there's also a little bit of belief that needs to be instilled in people. And it's like, hey, yeah, you are pretty, this is a feasible thing for you. Yeah. You can do this. So it started with that. And then my tool became a deck of cards. Like I said earlier, I had the opportunity, almost 2 years ago now, a year ago now, I can't remember, to work out with Ray Lewis.
Oh, wow.
Was incredible.
Cool.
He's a freak.
He's huge.
He's still a freak.
Yeah.
And I knew that the deck of cards was kind of his thing. So he has a crazy childhood story about he would flip over a card and do the amount of push-ups and then go through the whole deck. And he did that as a teenager in order to beat up his stepdad that was abusing his mom.
Wow.
So that was like his thing. And like I said, everybody's got a deck of cards and you can take that deck everywhere. So I did that in preparation for the workout. Yeah. And, basically whatever the denomination of the number that you flip over is how many push-ups you do. And then originally I did like jacks, queens, kings, all 10. Now I walk it up. So you have all the numbers, right? Then jacks 11, queens 12, kings 13, aces 25, and jokers 50. Cool. So I did that, was one of my goals this year. I said I wanted to do that 90% of the year. I missed 2 days in January because it's new. I'm sore. It sucked. It took forever.
Couldn't bend your arms.
Yeah. And the total of that is 560 if you add all that up.
Yeah.
Well, then I found myself in June, I'd miss a day since those 2 days in January. And it was almost frustrating that it was, in retrospect, becoming easier. Yeah. And I was like, man, I thought I wanted the challenge. The challenge, seeking that thrill of that challenge is part of the fun. And I wasn't getting that anymore to the point where I was frustrated. Yeah. So usually when that happens, I'm like, freaking turn that dial. You know what I mean?
Move the goalpost.
Yes. Yeah. So as of July 1, I told myself we're doubling it up. So now I just double every single number on the card. So jokers 100, aces 50, what have you. And obviously that total is 1,120.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
So like in business, obviously you've been extremely successful.
Well, thank you.
That's my opinion. I think I think that too.
I think looking out from the outside,
I think, but we're all chasing more, obviously.
Yeah.
But,
Exactly.
do you think that people underestimate how long success actually takes? And I know you, especially with your mindset, you know, around like your 1-year goals versus your 10-year goals.
Yes. Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, I respect you guys greatly because you know what it feels like to run a business.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone has experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And some people may think that they do or they have an understanding. I will be the first to tell you that I thought running a business was, oh, shoot, I'm good at sales. I can definitely run a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrong.
No, no.
Totally different.
Yeah.
You know, had some I don't say quick, but had some great success on the sales side of
Mhm.
becoming a real estate agent. And I've sold over 1,300 deals personally. And like, I hang my hat on a lot of that from where I get my value. And now that I'm, I don't know, somewhat in transition, if you want to call it that, there's a tension in transition, right? Where I'm going from this successful salesperson, that's where I drive value. That's how people view me as a success, into this business owner, this broker of other agents, and trying to provide value there and actually feel like I'm providing value.
Yeah.
And, being a business owner, those are two very different things.
For sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes transition isn't overnight. Like I feel like I've been in quote unquote transition for 3-4 years, and that is difficult.
So would you say that's your biggest growing pain? I mean, because you have over 40, agents, I think you said, to work under you.
Yeah.
I mean, would you say the transition period is your biggest growing pain you had, or
Yeah, I
or is
mean,
there others that
just
stand
like
out?
you guys and several other people you've probably had on this podcast and friends of ours, it's a small business.
Yeah.
Like when you're a small business, you wear 1,000 hats.
Oh yeah.
And it is very, very hard to separate that, not only on a job description, and technically it's like, dang, I actually have 3 different job descriptions, right? Like
Yeah.
the job description is to the job, not to the person. So you actually might be wearing 5 different hats growing your small business. If we could dream something up on paper and say, I want an in-house attorney, I want a marketing department, I want a this and that. Well, starting out, you're all of those things that you can possibly be to grow a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been so blessed with so much amazing help. There's been part of my journey that, we've talked about and may talk about today that, I was doing it all by myself.
Yeah.
Is not the way to do it. I learned very quickly, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I've had, I've talked about it before on the podcast, is I've had very similar experiences here at Daniels. I started out, I bought in and the company had a little bit of traction, but it was going to die or live with me there. Like when I came in, it's like, this company's either about to die or we're going to turn it around and turn it into something successful. And when I started out, I was by myself.
Yeah.
So it was just me, and then I was wearing all the hats. I didn't have a sales manager. I didn't have a production manager. I didn't have...
It was you.
Yeah, we didn't have anything. We had hardly any marketing. So it was like I was just trying to make my Facebook ads and run the crew and then running leads. And then it was just, you're all over the place. And there becomes like at least on my experience, there's like a pinch point somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I only have so many hours in the day. Like I've gotten to where it's like, now I'm working 16 hours a day, 17 hours a day. You're like, at some point, you're like, hey, I need help.
Yeah.
And you gotta help. You gotta.
Yeah.
So would you say to hire people sooner, or do you think there's like what is your recommendation on when you should find someone else to like fill one of those hats?
Yeah, no, love everything about what you just said, and it's 100% true, right? So we have a phrase that we like to use, that's optimization before expansion, because I think that's a fine line. I'd hate to give you just a blank answer where it may not be true for every single person that listens to this, because some people, you think, oh, expand, when you haven't even optimized what you're currently working with. You haven't made it the absolute best that it could be currently. Like there's probably a lot of growth in most businesses that can happen if you just shore some things up, add process to what you're doing, and then just throw that process at a lot of people after the fact, right? But sometimes people like to get the cart before the horse on that. But 100%, once you're ready to make those right hires that are going to help you grow the business or take something off your plate. I mean, I'm sure we have very similar experiences, because like when I was doing it all by myself, I found out all the wrong ways to do it and everything I wasn't good at. Right.
Yeah.
And then once I realized like, oh, well, gosh, take these details, take these things that I'm not good at, off my plate,
Mm-hmm.
give me more time to do what I can excel at.
Yeah.
Now we can experience growth. But I think, it's just different for everybody, right?
Yeah, it's interesting
For
how
where they're
fast you can figure out the things you aren't good at when you start running a business.
Yeah.
You have to be. I feel like you have to really look at yourself and be honest with yourself and say,
Yes.
hey, put your pride aside and say, hey,
Right.
I'm not. This isn't necessarily my cup of tea. This whatever portion of the business it is.
Yeah.
And even you have to be able to trust and bring it on the right person.
Yes.
You got to be able to trust them too to succeed or fail.
Yes.
And just guide them in the right direction.
Yeah.
You go from like managing yourself to managing people, which is there's an interesting dynamic there,
Right.
and it's totally different. But
Yeah.
no, that's awesome.
Yeah,
So-
we especially as a staff, we have done a billion of those personality tests and
Yeah.
disc assessments and all that kind of thing. And I'm a very high driver influencer. I did another disc assessment for Missouri Realtors Leadership Academy. We had to do a new one. And I scored 100 in driver and 94 in influencer. And then my other two for like the stabilizer analyzers were like 7 and 8.
Yeah.
so it's one of those things where it doesn't mean you can't do it.
Yeah.
But if you stick a spreadsheet in front of my face, my gas tank is going to empty very quickly.
Yeah,
and that's how we look at it. It's like it doesn't mean you shouldn't have awareness. You should have awareness as the business owner and that kind of thing. But I'd be silly if I, was acting like that was also going to be a strength of mine. You know what I mean? And that kind of analyzation category. No, we have people for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not hiring those people, you can actually hold your business back.
100%.
If you keep your ego up there, I'm like, well, I can handle it all. I can
Bingo.
do
The
it all. the
saying,
best.
hire your weakness is what they say.
Yeah.
Hire somebody smarter than you in different areas that you don't really like to do or excel in. So
So you're wearing the blazer today, the staple blazer.
Yes.
So your motto is the bright way to do real estate. Break down for the listeners at home. What does
being bright.
Yeah, being bright mean to you and your culture?
Man, this could be, I will try to keep this streamlined because this could be like an hour answer here. Because, whenever I came up, just the background of the blazer thing, right?
Yeah.
Whenever I came up with that, it was obviously to stand out. It was a marketing, quote unquote, gimmick.
right.
But I wanted to stop at a shtick and a gimmick. I wanted to be more than that. But I walked, just a brief backstory of that, I walked into this award ceremony with my mom. I was the brand new, fresh, young agent, so excited to wear this charcoal blazer. I'd always wanted a charcoal blazer because I was like, oh, yes, that's the thing. And so I got one at that very fancy Italian store, J.C. Penney, and thought, okay, now I've made it.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
walking
yeah.
to the room, I'm looking fresh. And I just remember walking in and looking so much like everybody else. I was instantly deflated, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, that was not the point. And so my mind was just, hammering that topic until I was like, shoot, I should have ordered an orange blazer. I've never seen anyone, really just like rock an orange blazer all the time. It's
Yeah.
my favorite color, made sense. And then I was like, oh shoot, I could do blue, I could do yellow. They crazier as years gone by, right? Sleeveless, holidays, you name it, sequins. And former English teacher, alliteration. It's a bright blazer. I was in broker school. Bright blazer broker was born out of that idea.
Yeah.
And it's also born out of the fact that I was paying attention to it, right? I was already trying to stand out. I was seeking that. But this whole Be Bright motto also expanded from the blazers. Because again, almost like the push-up thing, once I had the success of it, I was like, well, what's next? My brain is 10 years ahead all the time. I'm always thinking about what's next, to my own fault sometimes. But just like the blazers, I had the success of the brand and it was doing its thing. But then I was like almost frustrated to a point of like, okay, but what's next? What is this? It can't stop at a blazer.
Yeah.
Right. And to me, it was so much more than that. It was a movement. It was the reason I did it. It was this mentality of being bright, of standing out. And, we do the Be Bright conference, and one of the last questions we'll ask every guest is, what does Be Bright mean to you? Because it can always mean something different to each person, right? And it's that ultimate optimism, that ultimate standing out, and providing that bright light. So that is where it originally stemmed from, and now it's grown obviously to mean so much more. But it was like this bright blazer, but that's not the ultimate message. It can't end there. It just can't. So it formed this Be Bright, kind of our motto, our theme, and we just use that all the time.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I seen some because I went to your conference, which was awesome, by the way. I think you had Brad Lee on there, which is crazy, by the way.
Yeah.
I followed Brad Lee forever.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Freaking Jared Ritter has Brad Lee at his conference. What in the world is going on?
Yeah,
But I seen you ask that at the end. I think you asked him too. What is Be Bright? And it's interesting to hear everybody's answers because there's so much you can take from that. Just a simple word, but it's like be bright. Yeah. Kind of like Grant Cardone. He does the
what does 10x mean?
Yeah,
to you?
what does 10x mean to you at all of his conferences?
You've been in a lot of his conferences, haven't you?
Yeah. Went to about 9.
Oh man, he sits up there front row. He
Yeah.
gets those big boy tickets. I'm just like, I'll sit in the back over there with the peasants.
Yeah.
No, that's funny.
You've had a lot of success, like we said earlier in your career, and we watch it. What do you think is probably your proudest moment in real estate? Whether it's maybe the Sunny Hill thing or something within your team. What do you think, as far as for you, what would be your biggest success?
Yeah, and there's definitely both sides of that coin, from the real estate as a business side, and then the real estate as the investment side. So I can discuss both. But like I said, and I know we talked about this briefly, but like 2020 was a great sales year for me. Right, the real estate economy was booming, rates plummeted. It was a great year that now kind of set us up for this 3 years of of despair. But so I sold 33 million that year, 210 transactions in a single year, and it was amazing.
Yeah. I don't know how you kept your head on straight.
Well, I didn't. That's the point. That's kind of the gist there.
30 million at a 6% or 3%. Pocket watching. That's an awesome year.
Because I also got up at 2:30 in the morning for better part of 2 years.
Yeah.
And it sounds cool when you say it, but it's also just insanity.
Yeah.
So
I saw you in, sorry to cut you off, but on that, I saw you, I think it was you and J-Mac.
Yeah.
And they were like, they started it, I think at like 5:30 and then 4:30 and then 3. They're like competing it so you can wake up. I'm like, I'm not even going to bed, bro. I'm just staying up. I'm staying up all night.
Running on caffeine.
Start my next day.
Yeah. That was just a beautiful time, where I did enjoy those morning hours, but that 100% was because I had zero process in place.
Yeah.
And I had help, but now we have even more help. We have a larger team. And while that was great individual success, like we kind of alluded to earlier, that's also a great example of I can't add any more time to that day. Like you're saying, the 18-hour days and stuff is like, I have found the end point. So if I ever want to be bigger and better than this right here, because I'm never satisfied, right? It's like, it was a great year, but now those numbers that I did pale in comparison to what we all do together, right? And that's just the whole point. So my proudest moment, to answer the question on that side of the business, is it's just growing the business and seeing the success of our agents, our people, and having that same kind of growth. It's like, hey, I've made the mistakes. There's no need to recreate the wheel, and having the process created around how someone else can be successful. The definition of leadership that we use is making other success easy. Yeah. How can I make my agent's success ultra easy through the processes that were created by my failure, right?
Yeah, you learned from them and fixed it.
Yeah. So on the business side, that's 100%.
Yeah, so like on the flip side, we talk about the success. Obviously you've had some great success. What are some of the what's one of the biggest challenges maybe that you faced in business over the years that other entrepreneurs could maybe learn from and maybe not necessarily get out of it, but maybe something they can take away from?
Yeah, I think we've touched on a lot of it. Like I said, knowing yourself, knowing what kind of seat on the bus you should be sitting in. We've talked a little bit about that. Talked about getting process in place and stuff like that. On the investing side, Sunny Hill was a big undertaking.
Yeah. How many units was that?
So it's 70.
70 units.
That's a big boy. It on the way here.
Yeah. It's a big boy deal.
I'll give you the quick backstory on that.
Yeah, let's hear it. So you've had a couple big deals, I know, over the last couple of years.
I loved watching that transaction, or that whole process. Like the transformation was.
Yeah.
If you're from Cape and you've seen that building before, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that area right there, and around Sunny Hill is really starting to shape up.
I think you've changed. And
there's brand new.
I think you've changed that.
Roads
around that area.
Roads rebuilt.
Yeah.
Yep.
With the parks.
Because used to, not to be rude or mean, or it was kind of like a rough
some,
part.
There's some
right?
rough nicknames for that old building.
Yeah. But the deal is,
But,
it takes investors like yourself to come into these areas
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
revitalize them, because not a lot of people want to put money into
No,
them.
and
So it takes a visionary, it takes somebody with some time and energy and money
Yeah.
to come in and revitalize our neighborhoods. I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like it's super important.
It's important, yeah. I mean, Cape's a historic place, so I mean, like seeing all that, that's
100%.
awesome.
So, yeah, I'll give you the backstory because there's like a little sentiment to that, even that whole building, right? So I had the opportunity after my first Growth Con to go sit down with Grant Cardone, and you might remember this, but they threw like, this was still when they had to kind of like throw out little flyers like, hey, get this deal type thing. So I was going to go anyways, but I kind of waited to see if they do like a holiday discount. And for the new year, they said, hey, anybody who buys a VIP ticket, you get a one-on-one with Grant. I was like, click.
Yeah.
Instantly. Never heard anything. And then like after the event, I called their office and I was like, hey, my ticket that came with a one-on-one with Grant, I never got any information on it, but I was just kind of checking. And she's like, put me on hold. You know, it was like, they probably didn't remember that they offered it.
Yeah.
And she got back on the phone. It was like a Friday, and she goes, "Can you be here Wednesday?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, sure, make it happen." Commit first, figure it out later, right?
Yeah.
So literally flew down there in the same 24 hours. Flew home, but flew down there just like this, across from a table from Grant Cardone for like an hour 15 minutes. We went through all my properties at the time, talked to real estate, whatever. And I remember I owned a lot of houses at that time. And I think I had maybe like a couple duplexers or something small. But my largest deal at the time was under contract. So I went ahead and typed that out on my paper and like, put it in italics, make it look special.
Yeah.
And so he's going down my list because he's trying to set me up on a game plan. So he's going through my property. He said, hey, how much equity do you have in this? How much equity do you have in this? How much equity do you have in this? So we're going through all my properties. He gets down to that one. He's like, what is this? And I was like, oh, feeling pretty good about myself. I was like, that's a 7 unit. It's just under contract right now. I'm about to close on it. And I kid you not, that typical like Grant Cardone grin. He just kind of looks at me with that sly grin. Word for word, he goes, you stop buying this pussy shit. And he said, the next time you buy something, add a 0 to it. Dang. And that just, hearing that out loud gets chills. But so 70's been my number for years.
Yeah.
Right. That's one of my goals I wrote down for 5 years straight every single day. So buying Sunny Hill right at that target number was a massive goal that I got to check off. So big,
awesome.
Big story, big sentiment with that one.
That's awesome. Now it's 700.
Yeah.
You're going to go back to Grant like, bro, I got my 70. Check this out.
And he's going to go, quit buying that pussy. You're like, dang, all right, here we go.
10x that thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Funny enough, 700 is one of the goals I write down every day.
Is it really?
That'd
be like what, the district, kind of? Cape Trail?
Not big enough.
Is it?
I'm sorry,
how many's at
591.
oh dang!
Well,
So
it all
nothing here in
adds
Cape
up, right?
is
It
big
all
enough.
adds
Then.
up.
Yeah, that's wild.
Well, same guy owns all those. You can just buy them all.
Yeah, an investment firm, I guess, has got them. But for like people out there who are listening who maybe are thinking of getting into real estate or rental properties,
Absolutely.
What should they look for in a starter home for maybe it's their very first one they want to get into? Would you recommend maybe getting into a residential home for your first one or getting into a duplex, or what do you recommend?
Yeah, here's the thing. Bigger is always better.
Yeah.
And, but I would rather someone just get started than be like, oh, I will never buy until I buy 16 units. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get it. You want to go big, or at least you should. Bigger, safer. Bigger is always safer. Okay.
And tell me if we're wrong on this. I've heard multiple times that it's easier to get a bigger commercial deal than almost a single family because it's looked at as like a business rather than a
Sure. 5 units and more is going to be quote unquote commercial multifamily.
Yeah.
2 to 4 is multifamily, but it's considered residential. And you can buy one with an FHA loan. So that's as far as answer your question about getting started. I was one of the only deals I've ever backed out on my life was my very first deal. I was under contract with a fourplex here in Jackson and met one of my very good friends, even to this day, my home inspector.
Yeah.
And he, the first question he asked me is, you want to keep this? And at that time, you know, a big Robert Kiyosaki guy, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I'll never sell anything ever, right?
Yeah.
And so he was like, well, since you want to own it forever, you know, I'm going to tell you this is a money pit.
Yeah.
So was 100% honest with me. We stopped the inspection and backed out of that deal. But I was so bummed because I was going to use my FHA loan to buy 4 units.
Yeah.
It's a great way to get started.
Yeah.
So I impatient, you know, I like the urgency. I decided to open up the door to residential homes. My first real estate piece of property that I ever bought was 1721 Dunklin, and it was a residential home. I bought an FHA loan. Did I make a lot of money on it as far as cash flow goes? No, because I barely put anything down,
Right.
you know, for what
Yeah.
you can achieve in rent. But I'm so glad I got started. So if I would have waited, like I just said, I was like, oh, I'm only going to buy a 4 unit. What if I waited 2 years?
Yeah.
I would have missed out on the process. I would have missed out on learning. I would have missed out on being my own landlord, getting my lease together.
Yeah.
I would have missed out on all that started the traction of moving forward and buying the next deal, the next deal, the next deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at some point, it is about just getting started.
Yeah.
Yeah, the numbers got to work. Yes, rates are high right now. I get all that kind of stuff, but anybody can find a deal.
Yeah, I see a lot of people I'll talk to, and they'll be talking about wanting to start in real estate, and then a year later, I'm like, "Hey, did you find something yet?" And still no. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, you know, what are you waiting on? Like, oh, I'm waiting on the rates to come down, or oh, I'm waiting on this. And it's like, brother, if you spend your whole time waiting to do something, you'll never get there. Time passes you by.
A lot of people waited during COVID and thought the market was going to crash. I mean,
That
was
should have been the
all
time they
over
should have been.
the news.
They should have been doubling down, buying more,
100%.
getting those great 3% rates, because those.
Yeah.
I don't know if those are coming back. anytime
No.
soon.
What are we 6.9
What are we at? Like
now,
6? Yeah, 6 or 7.
Prime for commercials at 7% now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think that's what I got on my home.
Yeah.
Which 7% sucks.
Yeah. Where's those 3.25 at?
7% sucks. Well, let's talk about, because I love real estate too. So let's talk about some wealth building tactics.
Yeah.
So I know you've said before people can build wealth through real estate. So how can the average person use real estate to improve their financial situation long term?
Yeah. Well, 100%. I know I'm a real estate guy. It is the best investment. There is no other investment like it. Okay. And I teach a lot of classes on this. And I mean, there's no other investment that can do all the things that real estate does. It gets better over time. I'm not a very smart guy. I can wrap my head around all this I'm about to say, though. If I buy real estate today, 10 years from now, we would all agree it's going to be worth more in 10 years.
Yeah.
To me, that's a great start.
Yeah.
This appreciation thing is awesome. Okay. So even somebody that gets started and, you know, they think they got $300 a month of cash flow and this is awesome. And one broken toilet wipes it out.
Yeah,
It's like, well, that sucked. You know, it's like, well, hey, okay. You got started, you're learning, you're going to have that. This is a business, right? But your investment's also going to get it better over time as long as you take care of it.
Yeah.
So real estate appreciates. B, you can depreciate it. What other asset, and there's more to it, of course, can you appreciate over time, gets better, and depreciate against your taxes? Because they know that your real estate's also going to get worse over time. There's lots of tax strategies around, 27 and a half years for multifamily. You can write that off. Commercial, 39 years, I believe. So that's awesome. You also do cost segregation where you bring all that up front and write it off immediately against your income. Another crazy idea. That just means you buy something every year, right? I'm not an accountant. Don't act like I'm one. I know this is recorded, so I feel like I got to say that. But
You're on a recorded line.
Well, on the cross segregation, because and this might be value to, because we want to bring value to other entrepreneurs, people that own businesses, right?
Yeah,
Tax savings is massive.
absolutely.
I mean, that's one of our biggest problems is trying to figure out how to decrease our tax liability.
Yeah.
So I've noticed a few of the people we've talked to, they don't know, like tax people, I'm saying, they don't know cost segregation studies.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I've talked to and I won't talk about their name, but I've talked to my tax people. I'm like, hey, I'm getting this multifamily property or whatever. Like, can we do a cost segregation study on it? And I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
So who's someone that maybe, could you give advice on who a business owner, if they want to do cost segregation studies?
I could get somebody a name. I'm currently going through a study on cost seg right now, and the company that's doing the studies out of Texas.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So
yeah.
you're outsourcing to different states.
Yes.
So I heard some people reach out to people in California.
Yeah, I was gonna say people we know said that.
Yeah, because cost segregation it's a new one to me.
Yeah.
But I've seen that obviously it has to be a multifamily deal, right?
Right.
Bigger than 5 units.
Yeah.
And then you can.
I believe. I think so.
So you can write it all off in the first year, all your depreciation,
Yes.
right?
Yes. or the first two, depending on how much you're wiping out.
So if you have a massive tax bill, so
Yeah.
you say you're doing, whatever level of income you're doing, say you have $100,000 you're trying to get out of, you can go buy a property, and essentially you could, if you get the right property, you can write off that whole $100,000
100%.
just by buying a property.
Exactly.
That's
right.
going to appreciate in value over time.
Yeah.
And you should cash flow if the numbers are right.
Right.
Yeah.
See, that's to me,
And
that's
it's game changer.
it's like
It's
fake.
crazy.
Well, because
Yeah.
people always talk about trying to save money in taxes, right? Like, oh, well, if you buy this cup, it's a tax write-off for your business.
Right.
Like, well, cool, I had to buy that cup. I spent
Yeah.
money on this to get it. But if you go buy a piece of real estate, your down payment might only be, call it $50,000, and you might save, you could save $200,000 in taxes
Right.
with the cost segregation study,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And, so it gets better over time. Technically, it gets worse over time. So you can depreciate it, right?
Mhm.
Like you said, it should cash flow. So even if you could think of another asset that, probably doesn't appreciate and depreciate, but does it also pay you every month?
Mm-hmm.
And can you leverage against it? Okay, if I walked into Alliance Bank, I'll give them a shout out because they did amazing for me on the Sunny Hill job. If I walked into Alliance and said, hey, I love you guys so much that I would like you to give me a loan so I can buy stock at your bank, they would laugh me out of the building,
Yeah.
right? But if I walked in that same bank and said, hey, I found a massive apartment complex, I would like you to write me a check for a big fat loan, they say, let's sit down and talk numbers,
Yeah.
right? So, even your big dogs, your banks of the world, understand that real estate is a great asset so much that they're willing to give you money for it. Like, to me, that's wild. I can walk in and say, I have $1. Will you give me 3? And they say yes.
Yeah.
So the fact that, that is exactly what leverage is.
Yeah.
It's borrowing against it, using other people's money, and your dollars literally multiply in the field of real estate through being able to purchase, control, and grow an asset that technically I shouldn't have been able to afford.
Right.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people touch on, especially in the real estate, because I've owned a few properties myself, and a lot of people want cash flow. They're thinking, hey, if I buy some properties, I'm going to get rich. It's another get rich. They feel like they're going to get rich overnight type deal.
Right.
And my experience has been the cash flow is not necessarily where the value is really at. I mean, for me as a business owner, it's the depreciation.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. The long-term appreciation. But can you talk a little bit about what depreciation is and how you use that as a tax strategy?
Yeah. So, and I still will lead with, if you're going to get into real estate, the goal should be cash flow, even if it doesn't feel like it, because I understand that if you're starting one at a time, et cetera, it may take a while to build, and then you can play, the Monopoly game. Literally, that's why I love the game Monopoly. You can do the 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. It's exactly what I did to buy Vasterling Suites. And I would never have gotten there if I didn't acquire a little at a time and sold a package as a 1031 exchange and then bought Vasterling, right? So it may feel like the long game, but that's what you're in it for, right? My investments are my retirement, you know what I mean? 100%. But the depreciation is a great strategy. Like I said, family asset, you can do the equation on how much depreciation you could write off every single year for 27 and a half years. Because the opinion there, and it is correct, is that your real estate's going to get worse over time. The land isn't. You can't depreciate land, but the asset itself, we're sitting in a building that will technically worsen over time. The floors will need to be replaced. The et cetera will need to be replaced, right? So a lot of that you get to write off from a depreciation standpoint. And then the cost segregation just takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There's.
We could go in on that.
Yeah. I have,
it's so, some of it's a little complex, but you could,
Sure.
Obviously to people at home listening, whether you're a business owner or someone wanting, if you want to decrease your tax liability and you're a business owner wanting to get into properties, or if you're just someone that works a 9 to 5 and that wants a property, someone like yourself would be obviously an expert in the space and someone they should reach out to if they're wanting to get started.
And of course, just getting hooked up with the right accountant is going to go a long way to someone who knows the strategy, who can, connect you with a cost segregation person if that's what you want to do. It does have to be the right accountant.
Yeah. And something I actually did. So before I owned my own business, I was W-2. So when I worked as a W-2 person, I started an LLC separately for like a management company, property management. And I would buy real estate, and we use these strategies, appreciation and depreciation, to offset my W-2 income. So I actually lowered my
Bingo.
tax liability on my W-2 side.
Exactly.
Because I could literally, there was years where I would go tax exempt for 5 months
Right.
and not pay anything in, and I would still wash it out because of my real estate.
100%.
And that was like, as a W-2 guy, you don't even think of that.
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm just going to pay. And
Uh-huh.
Uncle Sam's taking my 30%, and that's the end of it.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be.
Exactly.
Whether you own a business or you work for someone else,
Yeah.
you can still utilize, things like depreciation and stuff to offset your tax liability.
Especially people like us that are in sales. And, like if there's real estate agents out there listening to this and they're in the 1099 space, well, they're going to get absolutely hammered on their taxes if they make any kind of money. Right.
Yeah.
And I always tell my agents that's my goal is for them to have the absolute highest tax bills ever, because that means they made a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a good problem. Your number one focus should be income. Everything else follows after that. Okay. And the next one on the list is tax savings, tax strategies. Okay. If you've made a lot of money, congratulations. That's step one. We'll figure the rest out. Right.
Yeah.
And like you said, one of the great things to do is to buy real estate, because it does offset that. And that's, I'm nothing special. That has been 100% my formula. And that should be everybody's formula for that matter, is get good at what you do.
Yeah.
Whatever your job is, it should be in sales. If it's not, create a side hustle, like we said earlier. So at least you have the opportunity to grow that, to expand that into something that doesn't have a ceiling, right? But get really good at that job.
Yeah.
Okay. Number one, because if at the end of the day, you got, this is no offense or anything, it's just the truth. If at the end of the day, someone has $2,500 and you're like, Jared, how do I invest it? It's like, how about put that back in yourself, get better at what you do, make a crap ton of money, then let's figure out what to do with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the number one investment is yourself. Like, educate yourself, grow yourself, so you are better at what you do. So you are the person in your industry that can succeed and therefore be set up financially. Now let's talk about investments, right? And that's all I've done is tried to get really, really good at what I do, my day job, and just pour that into a passive vehicle, and that's real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
I think that, 401ks are nice than everything else, but, life insurance. But the true thing is, I think for my goal long term is real estate. That's my retirement plan, like you said.
Yeah.
So
I've seen
I
so
want to
many-
have that at, because 20 years from now, real estate will be paid for, and then you got a lot of income.
Oh, we've seen, because obviously we do roofs for a lot of people.
Right.
And we've seen several individuals that are like older, 70s, and they own this portfolio.
Tons of people.
They're like, hey, we got 65 properties or 100 properties.
Yeah.
They're all paid off
Right.
because they hold on to them.
Yeah.
And then their retirement plan is literally once or twice a year they'll sell one.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're going to offload one.
Yeah.
Boom, we got 150 grand to go on vacation now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then they'll offload one. And then obviously they might leave some of the portfolio to their family, but
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that's awesome. I would love to be in a position where you're 60 and you could just offload one a year or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's the end all be all for everyone, but
Sure.
it's like, hey, that's a pretty cool position to be in, to where you're like, hey, I don't have to work, manage the properties I do have, and then offload one here and there. And
Absolutely.
We met
To
this
live a good
one
life.
individual. This lady, she was probably in her late 80s, probably.
yeah, sweet woman. I
Crazy
can't-
amount of properties, and had like all these people working for her, and she was just chill. She's like, I'll go swim like every day, all day long. She's not doing anything. And then,
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
cash flow is where that is at that point.
oh
right?
yeah,
And you
Oh,
can,
for sure. Yeah.
you can sell one and make a chunk of change, and you're going to write Uncle Sam a fat check.
Capital gains. And now, are they doing away with capital
I
gains?
thought that was gone. If you've
I think they pushed it back.
I don't know if it'll ever fully go away.
yeah.
I know they pitch us on a lot of nice
Yeah.
stuff. but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They dangle it.
Yeah.
They dangle it in front
Because
of
I
us.
thought I read something earlier in the year where it was. I thought it was going away, but maybe it's
I
not.
thought so too.
Maybe
but-
state versus federal.
I think it
that
was
could be
state.
too. Yeah.
I don't think federal will ever probably go away.
Right.
Unfortunately.
So
There would be a
Something.
massive boom,
But
I think, in flips and things like that without capital gains tax.
Oh,
yeah. I
But
mean,
there would be
my
also a
gosh.
massive tax loss on the government side too. So it's just like
Yeah.
the double-edged sword there.
Yeah. I think we've kind of touched on that.
Yeah. I do want to talk about the business side of things a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously everybody's goal, or at least our goal, is to gain business.
Yeah.
We want to gain business for myself. I want to gain business for the people we work here, to drive revenue.
All right.
So a big part of that's marketing,
Yeah.
branding, marketing, and we throw a lot of money at it.
Yeah.
But for you, you've built obviously a brand that I would call that is big,
Yeah.
a little loud.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the best type of branding? And I know it's hard to generalize for everyone,
Sure.
but what is your advice when it comes to branding?
Yeah. Love it.
Or marketing for a company?
Yeah. Yeah. And those are, two separate things, right?
Yeah.
And branding is more of how do I make people feel, right? If I look at Daniel's Roofing, if I look at Ritter Real Estate, what is my response to that brand? What do I think of whenever I get Jared, right? When you squeeze a lemon, you get lemon juice. When I squeeze Jared, what do I get? I hope it's something good, right?
Yeah.
It's the same idea. And the brand to me should answer that question. So when you think about, I'm sitting here in a freaking like pink animal print blazer, right? If I walk around town, it doesn't take long to get many comments, right? And it's on purpose. So number one, a brand should seek attention. Yeah. Okay. And I know there's, probably gonna get some comments that don't agree. That's okay. I'm correct. And I'm just kidding. Right? Because I don't care who you are, how you do it. I'm not saying everyone needs to wear a shiny material object to accomplish this. It's not true.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is in some capacity, you have to get attention. Yeah. If people don't know you, they ain't gonna follow you, like Grant Cardone says, right?
Yeah.
If I don't have a relationship with somebody, I'm not gonna do business with them. And in the sales world, especially, that's 100% true.
Yeah.
So my brand, how does that make people feel? Well, hopefully they're able to laugh at me and I can laugh along with them. Hopefully they see and feel the positivity from the Be Bright mantra, right? They can see that I'm willing to have a little fun and be spontaneous and loud and obnoxious and crazy. And it's almost like by doing that on Facebook, people get a glimpse into who I am. They kind of feel like they know me before they know me.
Yeah.
And to me, gosh, that's the best way to go about branding. And it's like, hey, when's the last time you met a funny attorney? You know what I mean? But if I marketed myself and branded myself as an attorney that was easy to get along with and you could call and laugh at my joke a little bit, if I had a situation that's somewhat personal, it'd probably be easier to pick up that phone and call the guy that I felt like I just laughed at a joke I saw on social media instead of like, oh man, this is going to be a painful phone call.
Yeah.
So same thing in real estate. And it's like when I do a food eating challenge or something silly and I'm throwing up on Facebook Live, people are able to laugh at that and like, hey, this guy's kind of normal, kind of weird, but and I want them to know me.
The donuts. Wasn't donuts?
I did several.
It was a lot.
Didn't go well.
Yeah. I mean, people want someone they can relate to and connect
100%.
with.
The relate word is huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we're all just people, because especially when you build like a successful business and you're you get to where you're kind of at the top of the pile. Sometimes people can be a little standoffish. Yeah. And maybe be like, oh, well, that guy's doing all this and, he's a million light years above me. And in reality, we're all just people.
Yeah.
Like, we're just people too.
Yes.
And we've been able to accomplish, or, you've been able to accomplish something great.
Yeah.
So it's good when you're doing that marketing and stuff. And we've seen it, all the Facebook marketing. And, we had a guest on before, like Be Chosen, the guys, Kaya and them.
Yeah.
They've killed it on social media.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think, would you say that social media is like one of the top marketing things that you can do?
1,000% to me.
Yeah.
Especially starting out was one of my bread and butters. I was probably one of the very first people around here that did sponsored ads, right?
Yeah.
And I know the algorithms and et cetera change for how things get promoted, but starting out when it was brand new, oh my gosh, I was like, so I can pay $20 and you're going to put my face in front of people who don't know me.
Right.
Yeah.
Or at the time, there was I don't think they can on a sponsored ad anymore, but it was a friends of my friends type button. So it's like, dang, it's like I just instantly connected with this many more people. So that idea of omnipresence, right, should be what your brand wants to accomplish. Is let me be 100 different places without actually having to be there. Well, my goodness, social media puts me in how many different living rooms at once? And here's the thing, right? Like, I don't like to get caught up on too much about, oh, well, I'm a new company and I'm just going to have to be okay with not marketing for a while because it costs money. It's like, how many things can we sit here and think up that it costs $0 to go post on social media?
Yeah.
Zero. Like, I don't care if you
Facebook,
sponsor.
Instagram, TikTok, like you can, depending on what avenue you're in, you can do all that most of that for free.
Yeah. And you know what? It's like, at some point you got to challenge yourself too. It's like, well, I have been doing that. I do post. Like, all right, well then post 10 times a day and see what that does.
Yeah.
It's like, well, people are going to tell me to quit. Well, good. You finally got some attention. You finally got noticed. Because in the success criteria, number one's attention. You got to get attention. And if you shout loud enough, if you wear bright things, I don't care what it is, people are eventually going to tell you to be quiet. And that's called criticism. Okay. We all need to be criticized every once in a while because at least we got notice.
I get fired up because I'm like, man, that means we're doing something right. If you're noticing it.
Oh, yeah.
You're
especially from the
noticing?
haters.
Then well, that's number 3. Number 3 is haters.
Yeah.
If you don't have people that dislike you, it's probably because you haven't done much yet. And it sounds mean. That sounds whatever.
Yeah.
But it's so true,
Yeah.
right? How do you become the president of the United States? Half the world has to hate you,
Yeah,
right?
that's very true.
And then
Literally.
the 4th is admiration. It all comes back around. It's a cycle, right? It's the people who come back and say, you know what? I believed in Daniel's roofing the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's like, I always thought you could do it. It's
Yeah,
like,
I mean, well, all his ideas seem silly to the average person until you make it, and then they're like, "Oh my god!"
then you become the blueprint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're asking how.
Yeah.
You know, how'd you do that?
Yeah,
Can
you know, I
help
know
me
a lot
out?
of I know a lot of business owners that do great. You know, whether they're doing like carpentry or like landscaping or whatever it is. I know several guys that like kill it,
Right.
but then they don't post any content.
Yes.
I'm like, brother, like you're providing a great service.
Yes.
You know, you guys can scale this, and some people don't want to scale, but
Yeah.
you can, but you don't post anything.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you not sharing out on the job site, installing this fence or
Yeah.
whatever, or getting a client testimonial, or like if you could just share that story with people, they would, you know, those people share, and like we'll have like tag with a client, and the client's gonna turn around and share it on their
Yeah.
Facebook or whatever, and it's like, you know, you see, then you get connected with their guests or their friends, and you know, I think it's super, super important to just put yourself out there, continuously.
Absolutely.
And I've seen you do that a lot. I mean, you've been
Absolutely.
just obviously bright and loud about it.
Yeah.
And a lot of, you know, us doing the podcast, that's what that was. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm sharing all these roofs we're doing every day. But it's like, cool, another roof.
Right.
Like, we got to do something where we can bring value
Yeah.
to the listeners at home, bring value to other companies. At the end of the day, if we do all those, we bring value, and we have a few more people that know who we are,
Right.
it comes full circle. And
Yeah.
hopefully we can sell more roofs.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
exactly.
the whole dream there.
Yeah. No, I love that too. And it kind of touches on something we were saying as far as like, if all I did was post a real estate related thing, or, you know, it's awesome and all, but hey, listening, closing, you know, like, okay, that still doesn't, as far as brand goes, connect me to the individual, which was kind of what we were just saying.
Right.
But if I am mixing in, I always tell my agents, the perfect Facebook post you can ever make is where you can't tell if I'm talking about a personal post, a professional post, a you name it post, because it's like kind of feels all the same.
Yeah.
It's like I might be, you know, and for my brand, I might be throwing up on camera, but I'm in a food contest, but I'm wearing the blazer, or I might be, you know, at the gym. Am I actually talking about real estate? I can't even tell.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this beautiful combination of all three where I feel like I'm getting to know the brand and the individual, and I can't even tell if it's about business or not.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So obviously that's marketing, and you touch heavily on the social media side. But let's talk about some like personal growth stuff. You've done these challenges. You know, you were waking up at 2:30 in the morning at one point. That's, you know, obviously that was probably a pretty busy season of your year.
Yeah.
How do you prevent, because a lot of business owners have this. It's called burnout.
Yeah.
So you're running 90 to nothing.
Yes.
How do you prevent burnout and get balance, I guess?
Oh man, that's so good. I don't believe in balance.
Yeah, I was saying it, and I knew before I said it, I was like, he's not going to believe in this. I've heard you say it before, so I'm going to say it anyway, just to get your take on it.
Yeah. No, it's a perfect question because it needs to be discussed.
Yeah.
Right. You know, I don't really believe in burnout either, even though I know it's real, because I think what burnout is someone losing the passion, the candle's blown out.
Mm-hmm.
There's no more purpose as far as why you did the thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So to me, it's a constant North Star. What direction am I heading? Are my goals very clear and well laid out, which is 100% the reason I write them every single day. It's like, well, Jared, don't you know your goals? You've been writing them for 1,800 days.
Yeah.
I think you know them by now. Well, they can change, right?
Mhm.
I could wake up and one of those goals is all of a sudden not important to me anymore. That's okay. Like, it's okay for things to change, but it is 1,000% my North Star. Whenever I'm writing something in the past tense and it's futuristic, but I can write it as if it's already happening and it's bigger than where I'm at now, I all of a sudden every single day carry a little bit more belief in that actually coming to fruition.
Yeah.
So to me, that allows me to carry so much purpose in continuing on the mission and why I even decided to do this in the first place, that I find it very, very difficult for me to burn out.
Yeah.
And I know everybody has, probably different opinions on that, but as long as I feel like I am still growing and chasing the overall vision, if that vision is taking me somewhere I want to go and I feel like I'm actually heading in that direction, well, I don't think I will experience burnout, because I think if there's growth happening, there's tension. Like I just said, for the last 3 years, I feel like I've been in transition. That is not fun, right? That's not a fun feeling. But if I know where I'm hoping to come out on the other side of this, well, then it's so much more worth it.
Yeah.
And as far as the balance thing, just to touch on that, because you've heard me probably talk about it before, I don't think there is a reality of balance. It's not mentioned in the Bible. If it was achievable, somebody would have wrote a great book about it.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like this concept of work-life balance, that's what it is. It's a concept. It's not true. Because you'll never, ever, ever, Jared's opinion, find true balance, right? I'm always going to feel like I'm stretched, like, oh, you know what? I feel so good about myself because I took off 2 hours early today to go do X, Y, and Z. Well, now when I'm doing X, Y, and Z, am I thinking about work, or did I really provide myself that freedom? You're conflicted, right? So to me, it's more of 100% in whatever I'm doing, right? If I'm in this podcast, man, I'm 100% in this podcast. I'm going to provide value. I want it to be the best podcast we can make it be. Whenever I leave here and I go to an appointment, I want that appointment to be the best it can possibly be. And, some people just may need to get better about scheduling. That your time management's your calendar, right?
Yeah.
And maybe I need to schedule in the personal stuff and allow me to actually let it hit the calendar instead of, whatever's left over, right?
Yeah.
But then when you go home, and whether it's your wife, your kids, or you name it, it's like, I need to be 100% in those moments too, right? And it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I think it's good to integrate the two lives together, like your work and your life balance.
Yes.
So, because if my wife wants to go on vacation somewhere, I'm like, okay, cool. We have like a conference coming up.
Yeah.
Like I have a work conference. Cool. It's a perfect time to go and work, and then we can have a nice dinner or go see a nice site in that same
Love
location.
that.
So that's something that I do as a business owner.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, and my wife hates it sometimes because I'm like, that's our vacation. Here's vacation. We're gonna go. I'm gonna be at a training all day, and then we can go have some fun on the weekend or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's the way that I've found to kind of get that balance is just integrating the two
I
lives
love the
together.
integration of that.
Is take my family with me. We can go and I can do my work thing. I can bring my people with me, and then we can have a little R&R, and then in the evening time or something like that.
I'm hoping mine gets better on that side. Hearing about a year, because my wife's in nursing school and we got 1 year left, and I'm like, after that,
sometimes
we're gonna get her to go. I mean, because like we went to Utah for a training last year, and I was like, man, I really would have loved for my wife to go, but she was in school.
Because that's a prime example. So we went out there for that training, and we when we were there at the training, we were all in. We learned some systems and processes. We took some great things away from that. Yeah. And then when we weren't in the training, we went and had a little fun.
Top golf, looking over the mountains. I mean,
it's
great.
It
was great.
Some nice dinners, seen some nice sights.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to definitely go out because that was almost like a relaxing time. It was almost like a vacation without it really. We worked
and it's nice to share with your friends too. Like so, we're all really close.
Yeah.
I mean, we work together every day, and then we talk on the phone after hours. But it's nice to have like a work thing, and then you get to just be who you are outside of that, and it's cool. I mean,
because Daniel's Roofing is my life.
Right.
Everything I do and everywhere I go, it's like it's with me.
Yeah. And you do have to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I struggle with that too.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly thinking 10 steps ahead, right? Yeah. So allowing yourself, it's a lot of fun to chase the buried treasure and find the X on the map. But if you're not having any fun on the journey, it's kind of pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard when you're always seeking more.
Yeah.
It's hard to find the joy in the now.
Well, and
I think sometimes.
He's talked about a lot here in the last couple of podcasts about just, taking a step back and like looking at the bigger picture and realizing what you have accomplished and like just being thankful for that,
Yeah.
And I mean, I think if you do that for a second, you're like, holy crap, I've never probably would have dreamed that I'd have been here when I was 18 years old, And so it's pretty awesome. I mean, I think we're all in better spots than we would have thought we would have been, but, I think there is still that we want to push forward and get more and achieve our life goals and stuff like that. But I know we kind of touched on it earlier. Speaking about business, like you said, you were like overwhelmed, working a ton of hours and doing all the hats. What was your breaking point when you finally realized, all right, I got to hire more people? I mean, I know you said that earlier, kind of, but like, what What did that look like? What position did you hire first, or what was your next step? I mean, like, you know, he hired me to run like the sales, and then shortly after we hired a guy to run all the crews for production, and then, you know, Diana was here running the office. And
Yeah.
then, so like, how did yours kind of unfold for you?
Yeah. You know, it was based a lot off of necessity,
Yeah.
right? And freeing up, whether it was my time or time in general, or, you know, I would like to sit up here and admit that I had a perfect plan all rolled out, and, you know, I just knew exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
But like I said, I learned, you know, a lot of the ways the hard way.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some of that even took people noticing it in me of what I needed.
Or like a personality change?
Yeah. So like Deanna stepped up to the plate and almost out of necessity started, you know, taking over a lot of the paperwork, the files. I mean, I was selling crazy amount of real estate, still doing my own paperwork for
Wow.
a lot of the time. But you know, that's just one example. You take that off my plate or someone else's plate, and it's like, oh man, now we can do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and then just grew from there as far as, you needed, oh gosh, compliance. Now we got other agents. Oh, there's a lot more files to deal with. And you know, details and little tasks and transaction stuff and marketing, right? It's like you watch me create a graphic. It took half an hour and still looked bad. And it's like hired Jacob and watched him, you know, produce something for the company. I was like, dude, that looks really good. Make me one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, if you can make me one, you can make all of our agents one. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like constantly in the evolution of the business, right?
You gotta find people's strengths for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm not technology is not my thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm like an idea guy, and I can drive some stuff, but I'm just like,
Bingo.
if we get into like actually trying to make something, it's like, oh, that's way over my
We talked
head.
about it last podcast. He's more of the creative in our company, and I'm the more to like admin side. Like I'm like
You guys got to
very
read Rocket
detailed,
Fuel.
you know. Yeah,
I'm
and
reading Rocket Fuel right now by Gino Wickman.
Yeah.
The same guy who wrote Traction talks exactly about that.
really,
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool stuff. He's our tech guy. Like, you know, he's 10 years younger.
Shout out
He's
to
still
Israel.
got the tech. We've been out of college a while.
I'm feeling like a boomer with some of this technology. Dude, AI and the stuff with AI is just it's nuts. The things that are coming around the corner.
One thing I've noticed about, and I say this in almost every podcast because it comes up, but faith.
Yeah.
I mean, tell us a little bit about that playing a role in like your success.
Yeah, I know he's big on that too.
I talk about that on every podcast. I try to, because like a lot of people relate their success to faith and God, and so like, I mean, where's that play in your life? I mean,
Yeah, man,
You know,
it's everything, right?
I mean, I know we go to same church, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah, to me, it is, again, when you're thinking about purpose and what you're able to accomplish and kind of how you're able to promote that, I think matters.
yeah,
Especially in today's climate. I think it is ultra important to stand up for what you believe in, and that goes for everybody. You know, I think everybody's voice matters, but I'm nothing without my faith.
Yeah.
You know, so I think also proudly wearing that matters.
Oh, yeah.
and means something.
for sure.
And just trying to set that right example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think everybody has different vehicles on how they, you know, spread the word and things like that. And, you know, I mean, I think everybody's got a different gift in how they do that. And so, you know, yours may be, you know, leading a team of people in real estate, and, you know, you guys maybe pray beforehand or just talk about things in there. And I think it's great because, you know, it's important for sure.
And, you know, the whole, like, you know, the more you have, the more responsibility you have, right? So it's like, if I have this much exposure and I'm going to grow this great thing, you know, like, I kind of feel like I'd be stopping short if I wasn't reaching people in more than one way.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I mean, got a big following. So.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we're going to kind of wrap things up a little bit here.
Yeah,
I appreciate you coming on. So
Absolutely.
if you had like one big takeaway for the people at home about your story or what they should be, you know, maybe doing, what's like the Jared Ritter? What do you want people to take away from your story and what you're doing?
Yeah, no, I love that. I you know, could probably sit here and come up with multiple things, but I think, you know, people just need to make a decision, own that decision, and be okay with the results, right? Like whatever someone is deciding to do, or should I do this, should I do that? You know, we've all been there, but there's something so special about making a decision, living with it. Was it good or bad? Let me own it. Let me own that decision, good or bad. and then take other people along for the ride. You know what I mean? I thought if you would have approached me, 7, 8, 10 years ago and said, do you need anybody else? I'd be like, absolutely not. Put it all on my back. I'm going to carry the load, and I'm going to make it the best it'll ever be. And then going through that and realizing that is 100% not true, that the only way you accomplish truly special things is with other people, completely changed my mindset around that. And it's so much more fun. Like you guys just said, going on trips and stuff and experiencing that with each other, and being able to show other people that, they matter and they can accomplish it just as much as I did, if not more, is truly special.
Yeah, I think being able to see the people that you're mentoring or coaching or leading be successful and helping their families and you leading the pack, I think that's make you feel good that you're impacting other people's lives that you lead.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as a manager here, like seeing their lives change as reps, like just is great. That means we're doing something right.
Exactly.
And it's a good feeling. So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So what's next for the Triple B?
Yeah,
man, you're gonna see some growth. You're gonna see some expansion. We got a lot of fun things in the works, and we just want to keep on spreading that bright message. And sometimes the volcano erupts, and then the lava takes a second to expand. So hopefully you'll see some more explosions, and hopefully you'll see some more lava spread.
Yeah. Awesome. So for the people at home, how can they, whether they're wanting to get into real estate, whether they want to be an investor or they want to be a real estate agent, how do they connect with you?
Love it. So you can follow our Facebook page, Ritter Real Estate. We're constantly doing events, throwing stuff out there for those exact topics, whether it's a free real estate investing event at the office or an event for, learning how to get your license. People can reach out to me directly, follow me on Facebook or Instagram. It doesn't matter.
Awesome.
Not hard to find, and I can't really hide. So,
hey, and I love your wrap truck too. I know we didn't talk about that at all, but
that's all right.
I see it everywhere. It stands out. So I think that's the key takeaway here today, guys. Is
stand out, baby.
Try to stand out. So, anyways, that is the conclusion of our show here. So, for everybody at home watching, we appreciate you tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe. Share our post on Facebook, and be bright, guys.
Yeah, really appreciate you guys having me today.
You didn't ask me today. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Hey, before we go, our next guest, our special guest, is going to be Mr. Drew Armitage. He's with Shelter Insurance.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk all things insurance, maybe beat him up a little bit because we have a tough time with these insurance agents out here.
Man, they're rough.
Yeah, get on to him.
Yeah, but anyways, thank you guys, and tune in next time.